All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome. BEARSKIFILM here, back from our hibernation. And I called David earlier today on my way home from work, and we were just chatting, and I brought it up. I go, do you know the last time we did a live show? And this is as natural as it gets, right, David? It was right after the Packers win in the playoffs. So literally, we lost to the Rams and haven't really talked football since, right? So that's how it is, man. Football ends, football ends. That's why that shit pisses me off. That's why you gotta go out there and get the actual job done and get the trophy. But with all that being said, we got a spot to start off on, Dave. So, let's talk about that Rams game just in a nutshell, or just the last season in a nutshell. We haven't really done that. So now that we've had a couple months removed, we're after the draft, or into the offseason of this next year, and that was what, 6 months ago now? 5 months ago. How do you look back at this last season? How do you look back at this last playoff run? And then how do you look back at this last game against the Rams in the playoffs? How do you feel about all three of those things?
I'll go in order, I guess. I was texting you that, when we take off for the off season, obviously you're in the grind of making content and everything. But when I take off, I always liked it, and we went back and said this before with the He Who Shall Not Be Named with Justin Fields. And we were always talking about when we were discussing whether we like him or not, or how he's gonna pan out. It always took me a few months off of watching him and then rewatching like the season worth of him. So I think it's like really healthy and beneficial to kind of step back, because if you're in this grind and just talking Bears, you almost like give yourself whatever narrative you believe in, and then you just kind of like beat it to death, and then you kind of, I don't know, you kind of like get too involved and you start tangenting into things that don't really make sense. So to talk about the season as a whole, going back and watching it, it was awesome. Really, really fun season to watch. It was really cool to go back and see the good luck we had kind of happen week to week when you're watching these like 25, 28-minute condensed game tape versions of everything. Really, really great season to watch in hindsight. I'll start with positives. I thought that we under promised, over delivered, I think, as a whole. Obviously, that first season was kind of like an experimental thing. Watching the progression of the team as the season went on, again, like when you're in it week to week, you kind of overanalyze and hyper focus on little things. But when you get to kind of take a step back and you watch what the team is doing week to week, it actually makes it almost more tangible. Like you can see what little progressions were being made as the highlight videos were going through. So that was cool. The season ended better than it started, right? When you go back, and the team looked better than at the beginning of the season. So that looks good and promising for the future. And then net positive, man. Like me and you always talk about it. Like there's really no second place here, right? Like the New England Patriots don't feel good about losing to the Seahawks in the Super Bowl, but overall, I don't know. Watching back on it, I feel like it was overall a positive season. You can't win it if you don't win it all. Like you're not really that happy, but I thought it was a pretty great season. Going into the Rams game, I thought it was such a perfect little microcosm of how the end of the Bears season kind of ended up wrapping up, right? Just kind of underperforming at the beginning, and some of the little simple stuff that they should be doing better by the end of the season, like they didn't do. Like we talk about with Caleb, like missed a lot of layups, right? But then when you hit a buzzer beater 3-pointer to tie the game, like you don't really notice it as much and you don't complain as much. But the Rams game sucked in hindsight more than anything. It just felt like the playoffs were so wide open that it would have been nice to just keep moving on, because it just felt like we could have beat anybody at any given moment at that point. And no team was scaring me in that point. When we were watching Bears against the Rams and then looking at the Patriots, the Seahawks, like we probably would have run into a buzzsaw with the Seahawks like anybody else did, because everyone else did. But yeah, that was my long-winded way of saying, like, really, really fun, positive season in hindsight. How about you?
Yeah, it's interesting putting together all the different clips that I do, all the different highlights, and then just forming this entire movie and kind of going back and touching it up a little bit and whatnot. I mean, I've seen this over and over and over and over and over and over. And so to me, there's like a clear flip of the switch, and it is week 9 against the Bengals. Like after we lost to the Ravens that game, the backup for the Ravens, who was it? Tyler Huntley?
Tyler Huntley, yeah.
Yeah. It's like we came out that next week and put up 49 against the Bengals. It just would not go down. And it just seemed like from that moment on, those dips that we saw early in the season kind of took a back seat. They didn't go away completely. I mean, there was still that 36-yard half against David. I'm going to mute you because I hear myself. There was still that 36-yard half against, the first game against the Packers, which you kind of saw this just inexcusable operation of the offense. There were some balls that were being sailed early on. Like that, the blame went around everywhere. It wasn't just one specific thing either. And so, those dips were still there, but we they just like flipped the switch, man. They hit another level. They hit another stride. And the confidence, I think, grew so much throughout those weeks where it's like, you lost to the Packers and it's like you couldn't wait to be done with the Browns so you could go back and face the Packers again. Like it was like you're almost thirsty for it, and that I remember that was the feeling. Like, okay, yeah, let's just not blow up and lose to the Browns somehow, because we know we can sit there and win it, but like let's get back to the Packers team and beat them again. And to sit there and do it in the playoffs in the fashion that we did, is magical. And for where we started, right, which was like I predicted 6 wins. In my wildest dreams, they got 10 wins. But they got 11. So it's like they outdid my expectations by a mile, right? So there's nothing you can really, you're looking at it from my point of view, there's nothing you can really be upset about. However, I'm upset every year because we don't win the Super Bowl. Like that's just the standard for me, right? So it's so nice to get there finally and to be knocking on that door and to be in the playoffs. Job's still not done. And then I look back at the 2018 season. We're like, all we need is a kicker. All we need is a kicker. I love the mentality of this locker room and of what this coaching staff has done. They said it. This starts back at 0. This starts back at 0. We might suck next year. Like you got to earn everything you get in this league. You got to go out there and you got to work hard. And how hard you work right now, how much time you put in right now is going to matter when it comes to crunch time. And you see how much it actually does matter when you get deep into those moments. Every little thing matters. So, it's a tough pill to swallow, but I think we have to swallow it. The question is for me, David, does that confidence now carry right over into the start of this year? Because if it doesn't, it's going to not feel great. Like I want this to be a step forward that doesn't take a step back now. I want them to kind of come out clicking a little bit more this year than they did last year. Because, we went 0-2 last year.
You said it really well. And that's going to go back into what we usually get shit on for, which is being a little bit negative. But there's a lot of moves from the offseason that, again, watching the season as a whole, and I was going to talk to you about this over the phone, right? And I don't know what order we want to talk about these topics in, right? So I'll just start with like Caleb, right? Caleb's progression is so backwards in terms of what he's good at versus what he needs to get better at, right? When you think about like a young, inexperienced quarterback, what do they do really well? They like throw the simple routes well. They throw the short routes well. They can do the easy reads and stuff like that. Caleb's almost like backwards, where he does all the hardest shit and makes it look easy, but then he takes the easy things and makes it look a little bit more challenging. And so the Bears as a whole, watching back in like in a summary way, it almost made it seem like they just kind of they took every hardest option and succeeded there, and they didn't really make things easier on themselves, if that makes sense. So they're putting themselves into harder situations. They're putting themselves in successful opportunities with like difficult, challenging, crazy plays, but like the easy ones didn't really look that easy. The one thing I would say that they did obviously really, really well, and was their like the thing that they could rely on in the difficult moments, was the running game. And even that is just such a crapshoot between being good one year and bad the next, because you're losing 2 offensive linemen and putting in 2 new offensive linemen this year. you don't know how quickly that can just kind of fall apart. And so I just worry about this team having like one really, really good, consistent thing. And in the NFL nowadays, the parity is so close and teams are always so similar that the one thing that the Bears can kind of do to stand out and have that one reliable thing that's less dependent on a lot of factors is if Ben Johnson and Caleb just really, really start to click. And those two are that kind of guaranteed thing that you can lean on every year. And then the other moving parts become less relevant when they do disappear, right? So when Patrick Mahomes loses Tyreek Hill, you're not stressing that hard because you know that it's still Patrick Mahomes and he'll probably make it work with really anybody. But I was looking through like what the offseason changes were and stuff like that. And I feel a little bit worried in certain ways, right? I feel worried that like DJ Moore might be more relevant and important than we needed him to be or thought that he would be. And we were all pretty stoked with the trade and thought we got a good value back, but you might end up missing DJ Moore. A lot of those highlight videos I was watching today, even like DJ Moore was involved in a lot of them, dude. He was really, really relevant, really important. Maybe somebody else will step up. I do think Luther Burden's a beast. Rome is like, I feel Rome is exactly the same confidence level I had with him this season as I did going into last season. But other than Rome and Luther, like, do we have much more? Can you name the third receiver on the depth chart right now? So it's like, there's a lot of factors, but I
mean, dude, honestly, when it comes to wide receivers, you know my take on it. I mean, dude, I look at back. You understand I was almost crucified for not wanting Marvin Harrison Jr. at pick 9. Like, and I shouted that because I just don't want that position at pick 9, right? So, like, we're kind of handicapped to Rome doing good right now, right? Because if Rome doesn't, then what? Like, then you have Luther, and like you said, even the third slot spot is American round. But this is all fine if you have a good quarterback, dude. It's all fine. He'll find the wide receiver he works with well. It's all right. Look at what the Steelers wound up doing back in the day. Do you remember that? It went Santonio Holmes. It was contract time.
Even before that, it was Plaxico.
Plaxico, yeah. Nope, no thanks.
Hines Ward. Antoine Randall, our receiver coach. So went to Santonio, then it went to
Mike Wallace. No thanks. But we will sign 5th round pick Antonio Brown.
Right.
For a second contract. So they did find that guy eventually that they're like, okay, it's gonna be worth it. And they drafted him in the 5th round, right? But you could sit there and go through these guys because they do get expensive when it comes to contract time, right? So unless they are worth it, they're just not worth it. Like, so it is what it is. I kind of expect that to be a merry-go-round as it is.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to do this in order. The only way I thought of driving the conversation or so was kind of just going through stuff that we never talked about because we just haven't done a show since Green Bay. And so
I guess draft. We could talk about draft.
I'm so confused by what Carl means. What are we?
Yeah, there's commercials during our show, so we make 8 cents or something. So
I didn't know that.
There's some Carl could go screw himself, whatever.
Yeah. So like basically the way I looked at it was like key acquisitions, moves, and then whatever. So like, I don't know, just give a general reaction. You don't have to say necessarily thumbs up, thumbs down, or in the middle, but like how you're feeling about each move. So obviously big one to start was Drew Dahlman. How stressed out are you about that?
I mean, we drafted a center in the 2nd round. We also picked up Bradbury from the Patriots. So as much as I really think Dahlman made a huge difference, and we will miss him, at least there's a plan to succeed him, right? Like a 2-option plan there. Like if Bradbury doesn't cut it, at least we got the high draft rookie. So as much as I want to be worried, I'd say compared to some other worries, that one probably falls a little lower on the priority list for me.
It's interesting. For me, it's probably the biggest positive / like either way needle mover on the whole offseason. I think it's the most important needle moving move from the whole offseason. I think he's more important to the health of how this season goes than DJ Moore. If you could have told me like, hey, you get to keep both for the same price, I would have kept Drew Dahlman over DJ Moore 100 out of 100 times.
I don't disagree whatsoever. A center and quarterback connection is extremely important, and you want to keep that as consistent as you can. But if he's just going to retire again next year, right? Unless he's not here for
year of him helping Caleb and calling out protections and giving the new guy a year to learn. Like it was like one more year would have made a lifetime of difference in terms of this team being prepared for him to leave abruptly.
100%. But when I look at the grand scheme of things then, and all the other issues that I feel are worth kind of looking at, I have to put this one somewhere ranked amongst those. And because there is at least a plan for it, that makes it drop down for me a little bit. There's some other things I'm worried about more. But I'm not trying to, you're not
downplaying
the value, not downplaying it at all. But there are other things that I'm just more concerned about.
Okay.
Because at least we do have some kind of option here.
Okay. Another important lost player, DJ. How do you feel about that versus what we got for him and how that worked out?
So I'm a fan of this move because I think, David, we called this move right when DJ signed. Mm-hmm. We said, in 3 years, he's a perfect trade candidate based off his age, based off the salary he's going to be making, this and that. Like, you're still earning from that trade back you made from the first overall pick you had the first time around, right? So you're still reaping rewards from that. And to get a second round pick for him, you could draft a wide receiver there. It might not be another DJ Moore, but it can be another option. So, you still have to balance it with the value that you got back from him. You didn't just lose DJ Moore. You still got something back for it.
You had 2 years of a first-round receiver and then got a second-round pick back.
100%. It was a necessary move. It just has to happen. I would say for the growth of Caleb, he's super important. I'm hoping that Caleb's at that point now where he no longer has to have DJ to grow. Like, he's just got to do it.
We've talked about this since you drafted Rome, where it's like that's the whole point of taking a quarterback first overall is that you don't need to take top 10 receivers. The quarterback should be improving second and third round receivers instead of vice versa, where you need to get him a 10th overall receiver to make him good. I agree. This is the whole Justin Fields argument.
And then you look at the offense in total, right? Like, you still have a first round pick in Rome, you have a second round pick in Luther, you have a first round pick in Colston. You got Cole Kmet there. It's not like this thing's without options here. There's still targets. So
smaller ones now, just because. Braxton Jones coming in for Ozzie Trapillo. I think that's that's a short conversation, I think, because that's just not that big a difference, I think, at the moment. Trapillo didn't establish himself as like a all pro. Like, you're not losing out on a top 10 left tackle and then replacing him. They were both like if Trapillo was the 20th best left tackle at the end of the season, Braxton Jones is 28th. Like, what are we talking about here?
Do you remember a time where we said, imagine if Braxton Jones was the worst guy in your offensive line? Because there was a time where he was like the best.
Now he is.
And so, exactly. I like the left tackle position to be kind of solidified a little bit better, but
for sure, who wouldn't?
Yeah, another fucking just rip the Band-Aid off and replace it with a fresh one again real quick, right? So that's kind of what we're doing there, but it is what it is.
This one's almost just a funny one, the joke. Tremaine Edmonds.
Yeah. Right.
Just move on. Just move on.
Yeah,
from there
right.
already.
Just move on.
That one's fine. I gotta say, watching the season as a whole, one of the craziest things to watch was how bad the linebacker play was. And again, like, taking a step back, we were watching mid-year, and I don't ever think we pointed that part of the defense out as being like horrendous. But watching it back, and dude, between the Tremaine Edmonds, Noah Sewell, like TJ being hurt all the time, and then finally getting to like week whatever when DeMarco Jackson fucking started, and you're just like, now that's a middle linebacker right there.
Yeah, and he was.
And it's just kind of crazy that we were just like, I don't know, blinders on with the whole Tremaine Edmonds sucking thing. And
Because of the turnovers, man. Like this whole defense
Yeah.
was not very good. They were the best at turning the ball over, and that covers up a lot of consistent mistakes. But you take that away, you take the turnovers away, and this is
really bad defense, dude. Dude,
really
you know what was really hard to watch? The defensive line, like the interior. That's a rough watch in hindsight, man. There's just no push, there's no pressure, and then you did nothing to address it whatsoever in the offseason. So it's just going to be more of that, I assume. But the next two I'll just lump together because I know you feel strongly about one of them, the Jaquan and Kevin Byard loss.
So it's interesting to me on both ends because it's like, okay, so now we're at the point with Ryan Pohl's career where your mistakes are now catching up, right? So like it sucks to see a second round pick safety walk away. Ideally, you draft a guy that in the second round is going to stick around. So for however his career went, whatever it was, it just kind of sucks overall. That's not how I would like my team to operate. Ideally, I'd like to be able to hold on to the high draft picks here for a long time. So that's kind of like just up front. Then, right now, I talked to you about Thieneman, and it was kind of funny. I think at the beginning, David, I'm going to mute you again because I can hear myself.
Sorry.
So we talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the season, like watch us draft a corner, watch us draft a defensive back, like just as a joke. And then as the season progressed, it got later and later, we realized like, okay, you are going to have somewhat of a late pick here. What if you do wind up going safety with the position you're in, but you get the pick of the litter, and it's like, is that really the worst thing? No, it's not. That's exactly what they did, right? So they went out and got Dylan Thieneman. And I'm just kind of looking at this though, David. Like Kevin Byard had a great year. He was playing some of the best football of his career as a veteran safety that's got a lot of experience in this league. And he definitely left on a high note, and it's good. You don't want to sign a guy that's aging, that is playing the best football, because like he's most likely not going to stay consistent, right? He might have one more good year. Like age is going to catch up to you. And so at some point, you don't want to pay him too much. I mean, he's got the upper hand. He's got the leverage. So it's the right move to let him go. But when you're replacing him with a rookie, I mean, do we really think that's going to be an upgrade? Or, like, are we going to see some struggles here from Dylan Thieneman? Like, I don't know. What's the rookie record for interceptions?
That's what I was going to ask you is, like, if
Let me look some of this up.
If Thieneman pans out, you're praying that he has a season half as good as Kevin Byard had last season. Right? Like if Kevin Byard, if you got 80% from Thieneman of what Kevin Byard did last season, you're probably like ecstatic with what you get out of Thieneman. So
right. So
Jaquan, I think, not that big of a miss, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to find some stuff here. So, back in the day, they used to get a lot more interceptions than they do now. So that's one thing. Night Train Lane, I think, holds the record at 14, and it was like a 12-game season or something stupid. I mean, that was a different kind of ball game, right? But more in the modern area, I don't know why this is stuck on the Falcons or if he just holds the rookie for the NFL. Said Xavier Watts had 5 interceptions his rookie season. I know some corners have had more. In the modern era, rookie strong safety. I mean, it's not even the picks, I think. It's just there's a lot to that position where it could be a very, very impactful position or it could kill you too. So, I'm just hoping that this kid doesn't kill us in some ways here and there because.
So is it fair to say that, like, I think Kobe White is an objective upgrade over Jaquan Brisker? Or no, I'm sorry,
sure.
Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant is an objective. And then you're probably taking like if on a scale of 10, if Kevin Byard was a 10 last year, best case scenario, you're getting like a 7 or an 8 out of Thieneman. So kind of break even on the safety situation.
Hopefully.
I would say.
Hopefully, right? Yeah. I don't think it's an upgrade, though. I don't think you're upgrading.
I don't either.
So
yeah, I mean, overall, that's kind of like the the major offseason like moves. I mean, you did sign some linebackers. I think you signed, who was it? DeMarco. Sorry, what was his name? Devin Bush. I like that. I think he's going to be a good, quick linebacker. Like anybody who's healthy and fast in this defense and wants to actually hit. Dude, Tremaine Edmonds, watching him over again, like that dude just did not want to hit. Noah Sewell was just attacking every angle as badly as you possibly could, just going straight line instead of like meeting a guy at the point. Got Malik Muhammad, got Khalif Raymond. I guess he's going to be like your do everything type of guy, I guess, right? Like he's going to be your punt returner, kick returner.
We got Dio.
Yeah, okay, yeah, Dio Adengbo. That he's a thing. He's a body, that's for sure.
We're paying him.
Yeah, definitely paying him.
We're giving that guy money.
I mean, we're definitely paying him. I mean, that's a fact.
David, I'd like to shift this back over to offense real quick, but can I play this video?
Yeah, for sure.
Let's check it out.
The drum. I think there is every reason to believe their offense is going to get exponentially better this year. You have to be patient with Caleb Williams. He is not going to get this offense quickly. It's going to take some time. And so what we saw last year, I think, was Caleb Williams scratching the surface of what he's ultimately able to become. Football is defined by the great coach-quarterback combos, right? By Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, and by Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, and once upon a time by Bill Walsh and Joe Montana.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you with certainty that I think Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams are going to be that. But if you had to bet on someone, if you had to pick a coach-quarterback combo in the league amongst the young guys and say, that's going to be the one that winds up defining the next generation in the NFL, I think it would be ridiculous not to pick them. Ben Johnson, I think, is an absolutely magnificent coach. I think Caleb Williams is as gifted as any quarterback in the entire NFL, with the exception of no one. And he does the hard stuff better than anybody in the league.
David, this is what you were saying earlier.
And if you could just figure out how to do the easy stuff a little more consistently, which is what I mean by the maturation, I think their offense is going to get better, not worse. The defense, they have acquired pieces. They have to get at least a little better. So I think the Bears are a legitimate Super Bowl contender, and this whole candidate for regression thing really rubs me the wrong way. I think it's being said by a lot of people who don't want to see them be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just kind of wanted to play that because it kind of touched on a little bit about what you said. Like, he does the hard stuff better than most people. If he could just do the easy stuff a little bit better, that might make things a lot easier, right? So
yeah, and I think it's going to come with time, and I think it's going to be a lot better this year. You know, I think me and you are big fans of just acknowledging and understanding like what part of your season was consistent and like repeatable versus like what was lucky. And we've said this since like, I forget which season it might have been. I don't even know if we've been doing the channel that long, but it was like the year we were talking about how we had a top 5 turnover defense. I don't think it was under Fangio, but it was the one between Fangio and now. And we were just like, you're just not going to see that again. Like you're not going to have a top 5 defense again. Defense is completely, dependent on how the momentum of that season is going, how the turnovers are going. Like no team can just be like, we're going to be a top 5 turnover team every year. Well, if the other team doesn't get rid of the ball or is really, really good against you with ball security, then you can't depend on turnovers. Yes, it's a coachable thing, punching the ball out, going for picks and blah, blah, blah. but you can't like it. So a lot of the things that I think you just can't rely on that the offense did last year was some of the extended miracles. Like it's just kind of, can you, like, don't get me wrong, Caleb like scrambling, totally repeatable, because there's a lot of times in these games and these highlights where he's running for first downs and he's, he's being smart, but he's also, showing some athleticism and extending plays and stuff like that. That stuff is repeatable, but some of the luckier catches and some of the crazier stuff he did, I mean, there's only like a handful of quarterbacks where they do that consistently because they are like legends. And I'm just not ready to throw Caleb into a category of like Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, because the shit they do on a week-to-week basis that looks not repeatable is stuff that Caleb did, but it's just like we just had 1 year of doing it. Like that's why in my head I want to see more of Caleb hitting slants and having 60% completion and stuff like that. So I just don't want to depend on that, because the defense is not a repeatable thing. I'm sorry. It's just not. Like you lost Nashawn Wright, guy who had all, like, I think him and Bayer tied the team in terms of turnovers. It was like 8 interceptions each, and you lost both of those guys. And you're just going to say that, like, yeah, we just replaced him with Thieneman, who's going to have the same amount of picks. And, Jalen Johnson coming back, he's going to have the same amount of picks. Like, that's just not a good way of predicting your next season based on what happened the previous season. That stuff's not repeatable. So that's why I want to have something in that category of, Caleb looking smarter, looking like he's making everything look easier. I have a sneaking suspicion, as I think most people will agree, that just based on the lack of depth at wide receiver and the fact that we drafted another tight end like Sam Roush, I think you're going to see a lot of like what Los Angeles did last year. So it might be simpler for Caleb. I think those 3 tight end sets are actually more complicated, but it ends up being like a simplified version of football because it's like mismatches are created off of running games and stuff like that. So that's a whole different conversation for like training camp and like when that kind of stuff comes. But like, I feel confident that Caleb and Ben are going to be smarter and better together every year. But just in hindsight, watching a lot of the season all in one and like watching all 20 games in like 2 days, man, like the condensed versions, it was a very miracle season. And I just don't want to depend on that being replicated as a miracle. I want to be good for the next 3 years.
No, I hear you. And I preach that constantly, that it's the consistency that matters more, that it's the floor here that needs to be raised, that we see the ceiling, and the ceiling's amazing. It's super high. And you can't rely on it historically. But dude, historically, like, you also have to take into consideration sometimes there is that one unicorn here and there where it's just like, I can't, he's 7 for 7 with it at the same time. Like, you can't rely on it, but he's relying on it. Like, he is doing that, and it's working.
Don't get me wrong. I also think that the floor of this team is like the highest it's been for me personally in the last
DJ
10 years.
said it best. DJ said it best.
I think we're a 7-win team every year until Caleb and Ben aren't here. I think we're minimum 7 wins. Like, I don't think
DJ Moore said it in the locker room. He's like, man, if it's like this every week, we're going to lose some years off our life, but we're going to win some football games. Like, yeah, dude, it's heart-stopping type of football. But the coin keeps flipping your way, right? So is it a coin flip, or are you actually, is this your game, man? And if it's your game, and like, I don't know, there's something to it, but I hear you. Like, law of averages, just at some point it doesn't come through, right? Like, at some point these miracles, you can't keep putting yourself in that situation if you can avoid it, and you can avoid it if you just do the smaller stuff better early on.
Well, I guess that's a more condensed way of saying what I'm trying to like put from earlier is Caleb was always so good at making the hard things look easy, but you shouldn't have to need to do that if you shouldn't have to have these buzzer beaters every week if you just go up on teams like 10 points once in a while. And we just never really did that. And we should be able to do that this year because against other teams, especially like there's always 8 to 10 teams having so much turnover. We have one of the most consistent teams now, I think, in terms of like building from the core out, where for the next like 3 to 5 years, as long as Caleb's there, as long as Ben's there, Darnell Wright, like those are guys that are going to be on this team for a very, very long time. And like, as long as those things kind of stay here, and Dennis Allen, I think you're going to see a lot more consistency, and you're going to see the floor of this team rise. Like I said, like, I mean, Paulie, there's been, I don't know how many, what are we on year 4 of doing this? Like, how many times have we predicted 6 to 8 wins as our beginning of the season prediction, right?
Finally ready to move on from that and predict something.
Well, that's where I'm saying, like, my floor on this team is like, I think worst case scenario. And I'm talking about like a catastrophic summer injury, and I'm like, they're still a 7-win team. Like, you tell me,
I was gonna say 7-8-win team is bottom.
Yeah, like Darnell Wright's out for the first 4 games. I'm still going like, we'll figure out a way to be an 8-win team. You know what I mean? Like, we lost Rome Odunze for the first like 6 weeks of the season, blah, blah, blah. Be like, yeah, we're still an 8-win team. Like, Caleb is the X factor, obviously. Like,
yes,
you know, depending on who you ask, Tyson Bagent can, you know, at least win 6 out of those 8 games too, but we'll see.
I got a question for you.
I'm just not one of those people, but I'm just saying, like, my floor on this team is the highest it's ever been. I'm an 8-win team, like, before I even look at the schedule.
Dude, so I brought this up when I was on BCP. I think it's an interesting way of looking at it. You know, Caleb got benched last year against the Lions, week 2. Fourth quarter, game was out of reach, right? And so at that point, you might as well sit him, start Tyson Bagent for like the last 2 drives or whatever it was, because the score is out of reach. David, same scenario this year. Do you leave Caleb in there?
I think if you're
what is out of reach? Has that changed?
Right. Yeah. I think 3 scores with 5 minutes to go.
You're still in it.
Reach.
You might be.
You're down 21 with 5, and you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying.
14 with 2 multiple times now. Like,
no, I know. Even I'm saying it. I'm like,
21 with 5 is fine.
I'm like, is that impossible? Like, I don't know.
So I think that says a lot.
Yeah.
About what Caleb's just done over the past year, regardless of the stats or whatever. Like, the belief you have in the capability of this guy just getting it done somehow, some way, that has changed. And that's an X factor that doesn't have a number on it.
Here's how I'll put it to you. When you say, like, do you take him out? Maybe, because instead of it happening 7 times this year, can we please get it down to like 4? Right? Can we win a game? Can we win like multiple games by like double digits this year? Like easily, like against worse teams. Like when you play the Raiders and they have a rookie quarterback and a rookie head coach and, you know, like a 2nd-year running back and no offensive line.
Can we not lose to Tyler Huntley?
Right. Can we maybe just like kick some ass this year instead of like begging for miracles? And don't get me wrong, they were fun, they were great, they were awesome to watch. I'm even watching some of those where, you know, like thinking back on last year, dude, I'm watching the Raiders replay, and you know, the blocked kick, and for once the Bears got lucky with a blocked kick. Guy was kicking like a 54-yarder with like 40 seconds left in the game. Like, the game wasn't over, but yeah, it was nice that we blocked a kick and sealed it. But it was just kind of one of those where
what was nice too is that we positioned that well. We played that well to put them in a position where they have to kick that type of long kick to do it and give us that advantage. Like, the whole approach to that was right. It wasn't sloppy.
Right. And again, like, it's how quickly we forget, right? Like, how quickly humans forget about bad things and tendencies and trauma and all that stuff. Like the coaching malpractice that we sat through for 3 years of Eberflus, and just like the poor decision making, the poor game management, and all that stuff. And it's, you know, I will say, I think I'm more critical of Ben than the majority of people in terms of his like 4th downs and going for touchdowns rather than taking 3 points. And I think it off the top of my head, it lost you 2 games this season just by going for it.
How many did it win you though?
I don't know, because I can't think of one specifically. I can't think of one specifically where we're doing it was smarter than not. The fourth downs in the middle of a drive on the 40-yard line, I don't count those. I get those. Those are just statistics, and they break even nowadays. 4th and 1s and 4th and 2s are just 3rd and 1s and 3rd and 2s. I don't care about those. Also, again, watching the season as a whole, you have a kicker that cannot make above a 52-yard field goal. Like, it's just, he just never can. He never will. He's not going to do it. I think he had like one for like 54 or 58 or something last season.
Didn't he do it in the Packers game? He had a 50-something yarder. Wouldn't matter. I mean, he came through.
He was fine. He's fine. I'm just saying, like, I'm not a big Cairo Santos like stan, but at the same time, like, so that's a part of the calculus, and going for 4th and 1s and 4th and 2s, that's fine. But specifically week 1, right? It's like, it's a perfect, like, full circle moment where week 1 Vikings, you probably win that game if you just went for one of those field goals where you went for 2 touchdowns. And then hindsight's 2020, dude. The Rams game, it's like that's
David,
that big factor, man.
And I agree with you, because that is also my preference and my ideal approach to those situations. But I also separate coaching with preference and dysfunction, right? Like, there is, like, I could prefer you run a different scheme. I could prefer you being less aggressive. Consistency matters. So at least if you, like, to me, dude, when I look at like the Bulls and the Jordan and the triangle offense, it's not the triangle offense was something fucking spectacular. It's just that everybody was bought in. It could be the simplest thing, but everybody knows what you're doing. So at minimum, you're like, you don't even have to question that part. The field goal unit doesn't have to start getting ready. There's no, are they coming out? You're going for it. This is what we are. This is what we do. And at least that takes that little part out of it. And it helps everybody buy into an approach. Now, I don't like the aggressive nature of it, but it is what it is. And I'll respect it being there from week 1 all the way to the end. At least it's that. I'll give it that. I don't like it, but fine. You're going to do it. At least do it without dysfunction. And I feel that has been done without dysfunction.
I'm with you in the moment, but I think it's also not. I think it's something that as a fan base, we're still in year 1 of it, and it hasn't gotten old or frustrating to us yet. And maybe it gets better with time, and maybe Ben Johnson like figures it out with time and stuff like that. But like, a lot of this ends up being, best case scenario. You can very clearly draw parallels where I don't want Caleb Williams to do what Caleb Williams did last year every year. I would like to see a few Jared Goff games from Caleb Williams. Do you know what I'm talking about? I want to see exactly I want to see some 35 for 45 for 400 yards, and you're not depending on miracles and 50% completions and Hail Mary bombs and scrambling. And this is not comparing and saying Jared Goff is better than Caleb or Caleb's better. Like, obviously, which quarterback do I want right now? It's still Caleb, but like, best case, like, peak Jared Goff is better than anything Caleb has done so far in his career. Obviously, he hasn't had that long of a career, but I do want, and so go ask a Detroit Lions fan.
A 5 touchdown game.
But when you're saying like you like the aggressiveness factor of it, right? You
like, I don't like
not
it.
That you don't like it, but that you can buy into it, right? Go ask a Detroit Lions fan right now, like, how much does that aggressive nature of Dan Campbell, like, what does that get you, right? Because without the consistency that team had, I think so. Imagine what Dan Campbell does, and he still has not much to show for it. He has one NFC championship game that he got beaten by Jaden Daniels, right? Or the semifinal divisional round that he got beat by Jaden. That's the furthest they've gone in the playoffs under the Dan Campbell regime, right? So when you look at all that, and then they have done what we're hoping the Bears do, right? Which is add the consistency factor along with the aggressiveness and the risk, and they still don't have much to show for it. So we don't even have the consistency part down, but we do have the aggressive part down. And like you said, as long as there's a buy-in to it, it's not as frustrating to watch. But if he just keeps being aggressive and we never even add the consistency level, you don't think that gets played out and a little bit tiresome and a little bit frustrating? I'm only operating under the thing of, I saw it cost you a few games this year.
To me, it's already frustrating. You're right. To me, it's already frustrating, whatever, because it's not my preference. However, like I said, I could separate the two between preference and dysfunction. And to me, I'm way more worried about dysfunction. And when I see
agree.
signs
It's not.
of that,
It hasn't.
preference is like
yet.
it's like whatever. I don't like it, but whatever. But like what we've seen here for a long time has been major dysfunction. Like,
but are you not?
That's not
okay.
here. Like
you're saying it in the sense in the realm of preference because it worked for now, right? For the most part, it still works. The aggressiveness works for Ben Johnson,
but it didn't work in week 1. And I'm
Sure,
saying I'm
but
still fine with it because at least that's like, dude, at least that's something. Consistency in this league is very hard. Get anything.
Oh, it's next to non-existent.
So at least consistently knowing what we're gonna do and what our game plan is and who we are is at least something to lean on.
So would you be like thrown off and like kind of find it
I expect
you find it. Would you find it like a little bit weird if he just all of a sudden was like super conservative next year? You'd be like, "Where's the Ben Johnson I'm used to?" Like
extremely.
Hmm.
You wouldn't?
Depends on. I think it does depends on what type of team you're dealing with. I think that's the true. That's the true thing that I want to see is the flexibility of Ben Johnson not being sucked into his own ego and going for everything. Because if you have less receivers and you have a 3 tight end system and a dominant running game, and I'm not trying to go back to the Lovie Smith Bears here by any means, but if you somehow, some way now are like, look, man, the new young guys shocked. A Packers fan, not impressed by the Bears.
Yeah, expand on that.
Impressed by Jordan Love. That's okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, like that's why Bill Belichick and Tom Brady are legends, right?
Right. And
when Tom Brady
ideally
needed to throw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns, he could do it. And when he needed to throw for 220 and control the possessions and control the turnover battle and all that stuff, he could. And so I'm not saying that
ideally in a dozen years, I'd like him to be there, do that, and be able to do that. This was his guy's first year.
I guess the long-winded way of me saying this is I just hope this is not our identity. Is like aggressive, risky play behavior. And it's like live by the 3, die by the 3, like live by the long ball, die by the long ball. I don't think that's a consistently fun way to have any team function on a year-to-year basis, especially when you have like, you know, a really good system in play and a good like coach. And it seems like he knows what the fuck he's doing and he's progressing Caleb really, really well. But if that's the motto, I need to see, like I said, add the consistency factor first, and then almost like earn the right to be like obnoxiously aggressive, if that makes sense. You got to like earn that right. We Jared Goff and those lines have earned the right to just call their own number whenever the fuck they want, because they have games where they dominate. I remember there was like 2 years ago, like a 6 or 8 week span where the Lions beat every single team by like 20 points or more or something insane. Like you earn the fuck out of that. And we're not even, you know, we're like a year ahead of schedule on the Dan Campbell scale of when he went like 8-8. And like one bad game here and there, and we're 8-8 still this year. So like I'm just saying, I really want to add that consistency. I want to see like layups being made. I want to see some ball control, like whatever we need to be. But if we're like losing a game 10-10, or I'm sorry, it's like a game at the end of the 4th quarter and it's 10-10 because that's the type of team we are this year. And it's like, well, it's 4th and 3 on our own 40, and we've struggled to score 10 points. It's the 4th quarter. We're going for it, baby. And it's like, I don't know if that's the thing. If you're just doing it just because that's the thing you always do, then that shit's going to get played out real fast. And that's kind of like my worry about it. Like you say, you want to see the consistency, but if Ben Johnson's going for it on every 4th and 3, even though it doesn't really call for it, I'm going to be a little bit frustrated. It's going to get old fast.
Clip that I saw, and I don't even remember which game it's from, but it was like 4th and 2, and the Falcons went for it. And they ran the ball, and like Terry Bradshaw or one of these guys was like, I don't understand why they wouldn't just give it to Kirk Cousins and blah, 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 this and that. Or they did give it to Kirk and it was incomplete or something, but that's the right move. And I think Matt Ryan was the only one that's like, no, it wasn't the right move. Guys, he was 5 for 23 this night. Like he's having a shit night. You're gonna give him the ball at the very end. You're gonna give him the ball at the very end and hope he's gonna do it when he's 5 for fucking 20. Like at some point, give up on it. And so I hear you. Like I think you're right from a coaching perspective. you do got to feel out your players sometimes, don't you? Like, and you do got to, I don't know, when to live to fight another day, I guess. But the consistency is definitely important. And like, there's a chance that this stuff takes a step back because, like, you look at this running game, dude. And David, you said it very early on. I have a clip of you in like week 4 when the team is 2-2, and you're like, "What is the most improved thing on this team?" And you said run blocking. By far, run blocking is more improved than anything else. And it's like, dude, we with 2 running backs, it seems like, ran all year. How are you're not going to replicate that? Didn't the enemy leave as well? Like, took a hit on the running backs coach. Like, you gotta, dude, that's gonna be a tough part of the offense right there, I think.
I don't think either one of those guys was hurt for any amount of time last year either.
That's insane, dude.
Like 2 running backs that like
not
literally
normal.
never got hurt.
Not normal. That doesn't happen either.
It's
like
borderline miracle. Like,
right. So I don't think you didn't draft another one.
Nope. You're still depending on Roschon Johnson.
Yeah, I was going to say Roschon Johnson is still on this team. So let's talk about Roschon. What do you expect from Roschon this year? 200 yards?
Yeah, 400 yards, and I want him to throw another cap on top of his cap.
Oh my, yes.
And just have 2 caps on, 2 Guardian caps on.
It'd be great if Caleb, and I want to lead this into one of the topics you said. It'd be great if Caleb, like, just he's out there, Roschon gets in front of him and blocked it, just right off the helmet, because that seems to be kind of a thing, doesn't it? You were talking about that a little bit, man. So, there are layups to be made, and then there are also some things that just kind of keep repeating. And one of the things I saw it with Justin Fields, and we are seeing it with Caleb now through 2 years. I saw it his rookie year too, and this year. And you mentioned it to me on the phone. And man, that is batted balls.
It was driving me crazy watching that season highlight video. I think I'd love to know the statistic because I have a feeling he's either 1 or 2 on batted balls for the entire season last year. That's probably a statistic that you can look up, and I'll take a look at it. But
1 or 2 what per game?
Oh no, I mean like how many? Yeah, like how many batted balls at the line by a quarterback?
By Caleb?
But just by any quarterback all season. I bet you he had number 1 or 2. Like he was the first or second. Like who had the most balls batted at the line of any quarterback last year? Are you looking it up?
AI is a wonderful thing. So guess who number 1 is?
Who was that? Kyler Murray.
Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
And then guess who number 2?
Who's the second shortest guy?
Oh, they tied. They tied. Same division.
Jared Goff?
Yes.
Wow.
Guess number 3?
Trevor Lawrence.
Yep. And are you looking at the list?
Yeah, I think I got it. And then Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold. So Sam Darnold won a Super Bowl in the number 4. So, is that really?
I guess that list of guys isn't that
terrible.
And, no, and also we're talking about very tall guys too. So yeah. I guess it's not as dramatic as I thought. But I mean, there was just some games where I was watching it where, damn, like maybe they were just bad timing. But good Lord, like they were a lot of batted balls and bad situations where it's the last thing you could have hoped for, but it's right there.
So I don't know, man. There is a sense of something feels so. Like we were talking about Ben Johnson and preference and dysfunction, right? And dude, I go back to before the season started, and it was like week 3 of preseason, and I remember saying, "Oh, there's the first red flag right there." And I don't even remember what it is. Like, I usually have so many things to complain about right now, David. We're complaining about preference, which to me is the least of my worries when it comes to coaching. Like, I truly don't have much to complain about with this coaching staff. I mean, like, yeah, sure, you could talk about the aggression and the 4th downs and this and that, but at the end of the day, they're going to, decide whatever they're going to decide. There's always going to be somebody who wants them to decide different. Like, that is preference. It's never perfect. It's never, it's just your choice. But you got to operate correctly, right? Like, there has to be structure. And like he's talked about that from day one, that structure is going to be there. Like, plays got to come in on time. The game plan has to be clear. These players have to be put in position to be able to play their best football. And I feel like that's getting done at a much better level than I've seen. I mean, in a very, very, very long time. I felt that with John Fox a little bit. Like, this is just solid. It didn't result in many wins, but at least it was a legitimate locker room. Like, we have a legitimate locker room right now. I don't know. I don't know if you agree or disagree, but I definitely think that that's something that I have not experienced much as a Bears fan, that I'm kind of really enjoying it.
I'm too cautiously optimistic. I think we've just been burned too many times, and it's a lot of PTSD. But yeah, I mean, the logical side of this is that Caleb and Ben have a whole nother year together. The most important players, at the very least on your offense, that are young, are the most important players are young and getting better. There's 0% chance that maybe there's some regression out of Colston Loveland, but Colston Loveland isn't getting worse. He doesn't seem the type to kind of go, you know what? I had 800 yards, in the last 10 weeks. I think I'm good. I think that's my peak. I peaked, so I'm good to go. I don't see a long-term fit here with Cole Kmet necessarily.
No, but
I
the most
I
important,
love the guy, but the most important guys like Luther Burden, Roma Dunze, Caleb Williams, Darnell
So,
Wright.
do you think
Colston
Caleb takes a year two slump?
I can't fathom him getting worse. I can't.
And
I
neither
could
can I.
see the narrative of how it happens, right? I can picture the narrative of like, whoa, what happened, and this is why, and then in hindsight, somebody on Bill Simmons or Big Cat's like, well, I guess, yeah, like that first year. And this is something we were always cautiously optimistic about with Caleb, but we had to at least.
Crooked's ready to drop the cautiously. Look, it's a good way of kind of putting it, to be honest with you. Very good way.
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty optimistic too. I'm just I've been burned too many times. I've been optimistic about so many players in the past that, I was dead wrong. With this one, it's like, but to be fair, I have to trust my own gut and my own observational skills, because when I call out shit, I call out shit. I wanted to trade Justin Fields a year before he was even
right,
on the market. So I can see the world of how Caleb regresses. I don't think it'll happen, because I think he's also just wired like a psycho, and he's really, really good at, like we said, fixing his weaknesses. The crazy thing about Caleb, and again, I'm watching this season in like 2 days, and it's really fun to do. I highly recommend anybody who who watches like highlight videos that are like 15 minutes long of all the best plays of the season. You got like 4 hours to kill, like over the summertime, or you got nothing to do and you miss football. Go watch like condensed versions of games and just kind of watch them in succession, and you really get the ups and downs. And and the long-term movie. Exactly. Yeah. So it really just gives you like a good micro. What's the like narrative on Caleb on a national level? Like, what is his
top 10?
What is his, no, but like in terms of like his abilities, like what do you think his narrative is? Like, that he's like risky, that he's lucky, that he's like a miracle worker? Like, what do you think like that elevator pitch, that 10 words or less description of Caleb is to like the average fan?
Does things no one else can.
Okay.
Consistent, like a lot.
Right.
Repeatedly, not consistently, but repeatedly, which is
right.
It's the definition, kind of like the miracle could be, right? So I get it.
So yeah, so like that's the narrative, but I think we're like, if he is aware of his own weaknesses, like going back to the year before, got sacked way too much, right? What did he do last year? Went out and got sacked only like 26 times or something.
David, I predicted 40.
Yeah,
I predicted they would go down to 40, and I was like, that would still be too much.
Yeah,
and
they cut it in half. I think it was in the 20s. And the one thing I would say is, like, in my head, and maybe this is just me, but I'm like, Caleb Williams is like an inconsistently consistent quarterback where it's like deep shots, but he misses them and all that. Dude, one of the craziest things that my perspective shift on Caleb is I think he doesn't take enough chances. I really don't. He does these like scrambles out of the pocket and he does these little magician moves, but he is not a risky quarterback.
No,
he presents himself that way. He had like 5 or 6 interceptions the whole season.
It's a way of negating the sack and turning it into at least an opportunity.
Net positive, but also like, and I was listening to an interview with him this offseason. He said he knows his percentages are shit.
Yeah.
You know why? Because he'll scramble around and get rid of the ball on purpose because he'd rather have the opportunity to make the play the next play.
That's why
so when you
40 sacks,
when on second, but also when you're on second down and 6 and you're scrambling around and you're like, there's nothing here, I'm going to toss it. And then on 3rd and 6, you nail it. Guess what percentage you're throwing? 50%.
Right.
So if you know that a play is dead and there's no point in beating it to death and getting 1 yard or 2 yards or -2 yards or the 50% chance that tipped ball that you're throwing on a miracle is intercepted or knocked down or whatever, then the best option right there is to throw it away, which leads you to that 50% mark. So like if you're just not watching the game,
that's only numbers.
Right. If you're a stat pad watcher, if you're a box score watcher, then you're going to think that Caleb Williams is like a 50% quarterback. It's just not the case. But
I'm watching fucking with those players on the other side of the field doing this shit, dude.
Dude, I want to see something more
that's. Yeah, I know exactly, but there's something that's like uncounted and unsaid too. Like dude, the threat of you being able to do what you do is very real now. You don't think that plays in? You don't think guys are going to mess up their responsibilities now because they're ready to bite a little bit more because you've like so there's things that like sure it's a throwaway on paper, it's a 50-50 whatever, but like that opportunity that it does create is worth a lot. And I don't know how you count that, but it's worth it. You know what I mean? So I get that game style. It's much better than getting sacked. And he's very elusive and he's very good doing it. It's almost like the game is slow enough for him to do it. Like this is always the shit that I wanted Justin Fields to be able to do. Scramble out and then read the field and take a shot if it's there. Or just like, dude, I go back to the DJ Moore touchdown in the playoffs against the Packers, right? Where they still had a couple minutes to come back and whatever. And by the way, at the very end of the game, as solid of a quarterback as Jordan Love is, when it matters most, snap, fumble, right? Which is why at the end of the day, you lean on a guy more like Caleb Williams, where you know when it matters most, that's not going to be the result. Like the Packers still could have won that game, man. They had the ball at the end of the game, right? So, but that touchdown to DJ Moore that led into that, dude, it was so perfect because when they show the overhead view, it's like they set up for a screen and the one corner just bites it a little too hard and DJ just starts running past him and he like lunges at him knowing like fuck within the first second or two Caleb's already like touchdown. And it's like, dude, you're finally using screens.
I think I got to call you out. I think you're getting your games mixed up. Are you talking about your post bomb to DJ Moore to end the game? That's the week 7.
No.
You're talking about the triple route.
The triple route on the outside. Did you look at it from the top? Two guys, all of them go to block.
Oh, yeah.
And when the one corner positions himself wrong, that's covering DJ Moore, and he can get a step out, he just takes off.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not
that was I remember that being
it's just
broken
such
down to death when it happened, when everybody was like, Ben Johnson set that play up in like the second quarter or something like that.
Well. Good job. And it's like,
I want to see more of that.
Where, yes, because I go back and I pull clips from us talking about it. And you're like, I have confidence in Caleb, but I have more confidence that at the end of the game, the coaching staff is going to fuck it up. Something's got to come down to where Eberflus and staff are more likely to fuck this up or blah, 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 or this and that. We don't have that anymore. I'm more confident now that we will be put in pretty good positions pretty consistently, which is like, dude, this is the way to groom a quarterback. And so when I look at Caleb, dude, that first year breaks most quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't care where they're drafted.
It feels like a fever dream. It doesn't feel like it feels like those first 2 years were combined into one. I honestly like blocked that one out of memory. I feel so bad about it.
It's so bad.
And it made
so
last
bad.
year feel like a rookie season.
The amount of progress he's taken is huge. He was kind of a little bit behind from that first year, though. But, like, there is little, I started off by asking you, like, do you see a step back? I don't either, David. And so, like, that, in my mind, that's what sets those special quarterbacks apart from the rest of them. The ones that just kind of keep getting better, man. I don't know. Some more than anything, don't get worse.
Watching Caleb, and you played that clip from Greeny, watching Caleb this year, that was like nervous, anxious, unconfident, unsure Caleb. Now, like, sprinkle in him knowing what the fuck he's doing and picking the field apart a little bit. It's a scary combination of things to happen.
Yeah, the idea that it is going to get better.
He's on the same page with Ben, and they're seeing the same shit.
And he is smart enough to do it, dude. He is.
Well, we said that even during the Eberflus season, where we just said, like, dude, this guy's
Remember him
smart.
yelling? Remember him yelling at Shane Waldron? Just like, why is this guy talking to me?
Mm-hmm. I almost want to go watch that for fun right now.
Dude, him during the Washington game, the Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Putting us, dude, first of all, low scoring game. You get the team to the goal line, they try and run it in with the center. After all your fucking effort, that's what they try. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then at the end of the game, you do it again. You finally get the lead. You go sit down exhausted. You have to look, get up, go, and pull your coach off the field. After doing everything you could possibly be asked to do.
You remember the
you still have to do more than that off the field. Oh, my God, dude. Do you remember the Big Cat thing? I made videos about it. When he's interviewing Ben Johnson. You know how to use your timeouts? 30 seconds on the, like, dude, how many ways can you fuck it up? Remember the Packers 30-second rundown where they're just standing there like, remember Keenan Allen coming out talking about the fourth down in the Packers game? How Eberflus was on the field goal or on the special teams channel calling out the fourth down play, and all the special teams field goal unit is running out, hearing the fourth down play, like, what the fuck? Meanwhile, all the offense is standing there. Like, what the fuck? And then he switches to the right channel, has like 5 seconds, calls out 5 seconds of a play, and Caleb has to just wing the rest of it. And Keenan's like, we did the best we could. Like, that's what you were dealing with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm talking myself into removing the cautiously part as well. So I like to break people's brain with this. And I know me and you have kind of like thrown this out there a little bit, and it's not crazy to us. And I'll tell you right now, I think Caleb is totally the guy. I think he is capable of doing it, and I think he's actually going to do it, right? I think that I am way more in on Ben Johnson than I am in on Caleb Williams. And meaning, imagine this. Sean McVay and the Rams. Sean McVay is one of the best, if not the best coach in this league. Made a Super Bowl with Jared Goff. All you Lions fans want to be fucking... Dude, somebody actually told me on the BCP show that I was doing, when I was like, Jared Goff has not even achieved as much on the Lions as he did on the Rams. He's been worse on the Lions. And somebody's like, no, he's achieved... Well, statistically, he might have bigger numbers or whatever. He made a Super Bowl with the Rams. He was in a Super Bowl with them. He's only been in lost it by like 3 points.
Almost won one. And Sean McVay traded him away for a guy that would never make the playoffs because he was in a division with Aaron Rodgers. But you was a fucking more capable quarterback than Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford. And what has happened since?
Yeah.
So now that's the same equivalent to we haven't even dude, we played 2 playoff games with Caleb. Imagine if we made a super, not even. Imagine that this year is whatever this year. Imagine NFC Championship.
You go to another playoff run.
Another playoff run. And then you trade him away for a guy like Justin Herbert. And somebody was like, what? And I was like, yeah, him and a first.
Okay. Do you remember my last year trade proposal?
No, but like I know we've kind of pitched this out there. Like that is what Sean McVay did.
Yeah.
And they won. If Ben Johnson was to somehow go that route, I am in on Ben Johnson. Like that is
we've said this. We're Bears fans first. We're not player fans.
No, for sure. But I think
my trade proposal. I think. Well, Carl's not here. He chickened out. I don't know why he never joined.
Yeah,
So
he'll be there in a half hour just to fucking not ever show up.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember him calling me crazy then. I said, if you could trade Caleb in a first for Joe Burrow, I was like, okay.
See, but here's the thing, Wendy. Like nobody wanted Stafford. He never made the playoffs. He was on the Lions. There's just it's just a conversation and it's just a hypothetical. But that is the closest equivalent I could think of right now.
No,
what the Rams actually did, right? So
no, I'm giving it to you right now, Paulie. It's if somehow, some way, Cincinnati calls you and they're like, "We'll give you Joe Burrow and like a third. We need to clear some cap space. He's old," and Ben is like, "I could get it done with Joe."
Yeah, and that's
we're not saying to do it. We're saying like that's
exactly. Well, I'm not saying to do it either. I think Caleb will be the guy.
If this happened right now, you'd be like, this is crazy because everybody thought that Sean McVay was a little bit crazy. They were like, Matt Stafford, the fucking 36-year-old from Detroit for Jared Goff? Why the fuck would he do that? And then it's like, well, he had a plan. So if Ben, Paulie's
had more success.
Was if Ben said that, guys, it was year 2 of Caleb, the stats were exactly the same. You know, I think the ceiling has been reached here or whatever. And he goes like, but I got Joe Burrow in a first for Caleb Williams from the Bengals. You'd be like, okay, I'll trust Ben. In Ben we trust. That's what you're saying is you're more.
Yep, 100%. I'd be on board. I mean, if that's the
you're on board.
I think I want the coach here for the next 20 years, David.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I think he's a real damn good coach. So, I mean, that is probably the thing I'm sure of most. But God damn, I hate this draft strategy that they use. I really do. But I don't know. This year's was a little bit better. But man, I don't know. I'll admit when I'm wrong. Like we were all, and I think you were too, from what I remember, all in on Mike Vrabel. But like when Mike Vrabel was in a Super Bowl and we weren't, I wasn't like, see, because I think Ben Johnson was the better choice. And I mean, now that we know, and I mean, Ben Johnson's not fucking reporters either, that we know of right now, right? So that whole thing came out. But like, that's the like, I mean, it's so hard to account for when it comes to football. Like, Vrabel wasn't a Super Bowl, you know what I mean? But that thing might have pulled them all together. And I was saving this for when Carl got on, and I know we've been on for an hour 15, and it's probably time to kind of, I don't know how long you have or how long you wanted to go for.
I mean,
I do have something I wanted to ask you about, but I wanted to wait till Carl was on here because it's something I commented while they were doing a show the other day, and of course he tried to roast me, and he did it in a very, very Carl way. So I'll explain. They said it's a shitty quarterback landscape. And I said, I completely disagree. I think we're in a very good golden age of quarterbacks right now. And then he did a little poll. Oh, who do you prefer? Brady, Manning, and Breeze, or Mahomes, Burrow, and like whatever. And of course, the poll was 100%. Everybody prefers the guys who are already retired and have statues made of them instead of the guys who don't have their careers played out. Like, of course, it's 100-0. You think that poll was swayed a little bit one way or another, Carl? Like, dude, even there's one person out there here and there that thinks cilantro tastes like soap. Like, not everybody loves cilantro. There's still those people out there who just hate it for some fucking reason. So like nothing's ever 100 to none. It's always like there's a poll where what's your preference? Like, yeah, dude, it was just worded and and then he like messaged me on Twitter with the results, like proud of something. But I truly think this is a golden age of quarterbacks, David. I don't know how you feel about that, but I'm looking at it as like the depth of quarterbacks throughout the league right now. Like, we have guys that are shitty quarterbacks that are on their second contract with their teams, like Tua. Or I mean, I guess Tua's not there anymore, but like Trevor Lawrence is there. He's very iffy. Like, I don't know, man. There's a lot of depth. I think it's more like 1 through 5. It's not 1 through 10. It's 1 through 5, and it's like 6 through 15. Because I could see any of those 10 shifting around any which way.
Yeah, I think it's a very old school take to think that the quarterbacks back then were better just because they're like legends. I think they were different, and I think they operated in a time when we had 5 to 7 incredible quarterbacks, and then the rest of the league was absolute dog shit. Whereas now we are in a situation where the top 5 to 10 guys are all quite close to each other, and then the bottom 20 guys are all quite close to each other. Right? So like the guys back then was like 1 through 5 were comparable to each other, and that's the end of the list. And then there was like a tier of like level 2 quarterbacks that were all really comparable. You knew they would never take you anywhere, but they were good. And then the bottom of the league was just like guys who literally will never play again within a year. And now you've got like 40 guys in the league at any given moment that could be starting quarterbacks on a given team. And then we're just trying to experiment and move them around and see which one fits with what. But there's like 40 guys in the NFL that could be a legitimate NFL starter and give you pretty comparable stats to the guy who's like the 15th best starter.
100%. And I think that depth at that position is something that we have not had in this league. There is a lot of capable quarterbacks right now that are able to come in.
I think that's why
games. Like,
I think that's why the parity and the Super Bowl champion every year is so different now, because every team's got a guy that can get it done. Whereas
right,
like
it's no longer that 1 through 5 that's always winning it.
And people going Lamar can never pull it off in the playoffs, and Josh Allen can't finish the job in the playoffs. It's like, do you all remember like 8 years of Peyton Manning?
Dude, Lamar Jackson is in the same exact spot that Peyton Manning was in at one point.
I think he's in a better spot than Peyton Manning.
2 MVPs, he won. No Super Bowl ring yet. Like, Peyton Manning was exactly that at some point in his career.
I dare people to like go back and look at revisionist history of like the 7 to 8 years of playoff football that Peyton Manning absolutely just shit a wet fart on the floor. And then finally he started winning. And then even then he couldn't really get it done until he went back to Denver. And then with like a noodle arm, had the best defense and like the best team he was ever around, and then won his second one.
And honestly, almost didn't get it done against Rex Grossman.
Yeah.
Like you got it done, but like you should have had that
fumbles in the rain,
right? Like, yeah, I mean, exactly. So like
in the rain.
No, there's a lot that like when you look at it, but once you get that ring, once you get one, you are in a whole nother.
If Josh Allen gets one ring in the next 2 to 3 years, he's going to go down as like a top 10 all-time quarterback.
For sure. What if he doesn't?
Top 10 all-time. And it's like that's the difference it'll make. He'll either be Jim Kelly, who people barely talk about,
and barely know,
or he'll be.
And Jim Kelly was a lot more successful.
Jim Kelly went to 4 straight fucking Super Bowls, like,
which is crazy. Insane.
Yeah, like Rich Gannon went to like a Super Bowl.
I think the conversation that sparked this up on their channel is Dak Prescott a Hall of Famer?
Absolutely.
So like, is Russell Wilson?
Probably.
Like, but so it's not just the one Super Bowl, because it's not like Trent Dilfer. I think
Russ has like 2 or 3.
Like, is Jalen Hurts?
No.
But he's more accomplished than Dak.
In the sense of having a ring, sure.
Right. So doesn't that, like, if
Hall
you
of
get
Fame
two
is
rings,
an
if you get 2 rings, are you automatically in?
No.
Who out there has 2 rings and isn't?
Are you talking about quarterbacks or players? Because there's plenty of players with 2 rings that have no
quarterbacks, just quarterbacks.
Okay.
Doesn't that kind of just put you in automatically?
Yeah, if you have as a starting quarterback 1-2 Super Bowls, you'll probably you can probably coast the rest of your career with like 3,500 yard seasons and probably make it.
Yeah, I agree. But like otherwise, if you don't have
if Trent Dilfer just ended up staying with Baltimore and won another one, would he be in the Hall of Fame? No.
But so that's what we're talking about when I say to put that into a different type of context. That is the Jared Goff, Matt Stafford trade.
I was going to say,
you could take a guy like Dak Prescott, who has not won one, but is a Hall of Fame quarterback, while you have a guy like Jalen Hurts, who that might have success, and you might have gone to a Super Bowl with him. Like Jalen Hurts won one, obviously, but like Jared Goff didn't. So the success doesn't necessarily dictate how good of a quarterback you are. And you might pull that trigger for the guy that is a better quarterback that just hasn't had that success yet. I don't know.
I've said this to you.
Kind of relate, so
I said this to you when Caleb was getting his brains bashed in, right? And I said that he was going to have a similar career path to like Baker, end up with Sean McVay,
dude. And win real. That's where it was headed.
That's where it was headed. That's how I feel it happens in this league. Like I said that was the immediate reaction to Caleb's first year, as I said, he's going to be gone in 3 years. He's going to get picked up by Sean McVay for free, and then he'll win 2 to 3 Super Bowls with Sean McVay.
Thank God it's somehow turned a corner, because it did, and that was so hard, but it did. Man.
Sean McVay's probably going to retire after this year, maybe in 2 years. I don't know. The rumors every year is that he's going to retire, but if he has to deal with Stafford retiring, and then Aaron Donald makes a comeback, and then he retires. Mark my words also, Aaron Donald will play football this season. Guaranteed. I don't know if we've discussed this.
What? No, we have not at all. I'm actually curious because this is going to make a great take. So why are you guaranteeing that?
It's already kind of rumored on the internet because of all the little things that he, the moment Myles Garrett got traded for, and then he posted
huge, dude.
A song that he was listening to called "Stay Ready" or something like that, something crazy.
And dude. Imagine at this point. No, hold on. Can I just stop you right there? What did they trade for Myles Garrett?
2 firsts
and Jared Verse.
Yeah.
So imagine we took Rome instead of Verse. We could have dropped back, picked up draft capital. That could have not even hurt us. Right now, we could have been. I'm just saying, there's a scenario out there in my mind where we're trading away. Okay, I'm not going to yell about it anymore. But I'm just saying fuck.
You can.
Okay, shit bothers me. Okay, but I'm sorry to cut you off.
It's one of my proudest receipts that we have.
Why? Okay, I'm sorry. Why is Aaron?
So I get you. It's one of my most confident takes that we've ever said, that we were so confident in the moment, and in hindsight, we're even more right. So don't get me wrong. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Still telling me he's good.
Yeah, shut up.
Okay, no. Let's talk. God damn it.
Yeah. But Carl calling us idiots.
Fucking Carl.
And now he's on the Rome sucks bandwagon. That's just tells you everything you need to know.
He told me Rome, start of last year, he told me Rome was going to have 1,500 yards.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, Carl, I will patiently wait. And then I'll circle back to this shit. And it's dude, now, I went on Chicago Clubhouse, and I was like, okay, what does he need in order to, when contract time comes, he's a pick 9 overall. He's got some kind of leverage. He's going to demand some kind of money. Some other team out there is going to pay some type of money for the potential that he still has that we may not believe in.
And it won't be the Bears.
So what does he have to do to be able to be worth the value that he's going to demand? I mean, you're talking about you need to have a 1,300 yard seasons, 2 of them back to back right now.
No, more than
starting with this one.
No, I genuinely think you need more.
No, if he had 2 1,300 yard seasons back to back, I think
I think you'd need to be in the 1,500 yard range, 11 touchdowns.
That type of dominance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going at the minimum. At minimum, if he had 2 1,300 yard seasons, I think
he'd still be gone. I think he'd be gone.
He probably would.
Because at that point, my confidence level right now, and Luther Burden having a better season this season than Rome is like a 9 out of 10. I'm at like a 9 out of 10.
And he doesn't have to live up to more
Give me
than
one
where
second.
he
I
was
gotta plug in
drafted.
my laptop.
No, that's fine. That's fine. And he doesn't have to live up to more than he was drafted, which is where you should be drafting wide receiver in like the second round, even if it's early in the second round. It's fine. You do not take him top 10. And this is why I was saying, like, even if Marvin Harrison Jr. fell down to top 10, I'd be happy because it guarantees us a trade partner to trade back.
What?
That year, no defensive player got taken till pick 15. You could have potentially dropped back 4, 5, 6 spots.
But also, the first defensive player wasn't Jared Verse either.
No, it was Dallas.
Nope, Leatu Latu.
Yeah, there you go. Right. So it's like, so it's frustrating because Jared Verse on this team would not even be traded away.
No, we need him on the other side of Montez Sweat, and we'd be like, this is a great fucking team.
Yeah, so
this is a great defense with 2 great pass rushers. No, I mean, this was my one of my favorite clips was like, you go back, you clip that shit of me screaming because this is the end. I don't ever want to be the Bengals. I don't ever want to be the Bengals where my top 2 players are quarterback and wide receiver having to get paid at the same time at 2 positions where that money dictates the rest of your team is crippled. I don't ever want to be that team. So when you're drafting a quarterback and a wide receiver, 2 in the top 10, math, just think of future-proofing your team and the basics of the math. One of them will have to get paid if they're both incredible and you only have enough money for one. They'll never pick the receiver over the quarterback. No team will. So you end up paying the quarterback and you lose the amazing wide receiver. Or you pay both and you put yourself in a situation where the rest of your team is locked up for the next 4 to 5 years until one of these contracts can come off the books. The Bengals have like 80% of their cap in like 4 players right now.
You know what's
they
really
are absolutely fucked. They're going to be a 6 to 8 win team for the next 5 years until they blow it up. It's just never going to work.
I need to go and look this up, but I bet you did. I bet you there's more we talked about like 2 Super Bowls as a quarterback probably gets you in the Hall of Fame. But typically, if you get 2 Super Bowls, you're a damn good quarterback. Like there aren't those guys. There's those guys that'll get 1. But if you get 2, man, like Eli Manning is probably the worst one I can think of that has 2. Like, sure, there's some, but like, I bet you there's more wide receivers in the Hall of Fame without Super Bowls than any other position.
There's also like 4 of them on the field at any given moment.
Correct, but I bet you there's just more. I mean, dude, I could think of so many that were so good. Like right, like I
could name you
T.O. Like there's so many guys.
I can name you 5 Super Bowl MVPs that were wide receivers that are basically irrelevant otherwise.
Correct.
Right. So like when you think of guys like, I mean, I'm going to get flagged for this one, but just like Santonio Holmes, Plexico Burress, right? Plexico, I'm pretty sure won an MVP with the Giants. He was one of the, right? Like you're talking about guys like Mario Manningham, who almost won Super Bowl MVP. Julian Edelman, who, well, Julian's like he's an X factor. He's a pretty damn good guy. He's got playoff stats, but like Mario Manningham, Santonio Holmes, Plexico Burress, fucking shit. I mean, half of Tom Brady's receivers, David Givens, Troy
Tyreek
Brown.
Hill was a 5th round pick. Like
David Givens, Troy Brown.
You know what's interesting, David? When it comes to the money side
of Deion Branch.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like
seem to do nothing.
The relevant players who were amazing winners, but
like I said, Tyreek Hill going to Miami. What did it do for Miami?
Yeah, I gave him like 1 year of fun. That was about it.
He's a damn good wide receiver. I'm not taking that away from him. What did it do for Miami though? Like, so what does a damn good wide receiver really do for you? It's nothing. A damn good quarterback does a lot more, and he should be able to take anybody. And like, dude, like you said, when a quarterback can dictate to the wide receiver what he wants them to do, the wide receivers are so much more successful. right? Those are your words from a clip I have. Like, and it is so true. It's when you were talking about Tom Brady and Julian Edelman. And like, damn it, I had a point and I lost it now. Fuck. Totally had a point that I wanted to ask. Go off of. I don't even remember, but yeah, I don't know. Oh, yes. Finish your Aaron Donald will start this year because I cut you off.
Oh, so give it by week 8. Aaron Donald's coming out of retirement and joining the Rams. He's going to see how the Rams are doing as long as Matt Stafford's playing, as long as Myles Garrett's there. Dude, you make a playoff run with Matt Stafford, Myles Garrett, and Aaron Donald. Good luck.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. It's a crazy way of approaching it. But yeah, pushing your chips all in, man. I mean, it's not a bad way to go. I thought it would have crippled them a lot more than it did, David.
What? This is the first
Like-
time they had a first-round pick in like 7 years?
Yeah, they've been fine. They've been a contender the whole time. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
So wound up not really
and then
hurting them.
they
all
just
that much
traded their
after all.
next 2 first-round picks for who's the cornerback out of Kansas City? Trent McDuffie. They just got Trent McDuffie too, I think. So
Yeah, no, that's nuts. That's nuts. And yeah, dude, it's an interesting spot this league is in because like I do believe in Caleb, but like I do also look at exactly how fucking good you have to be, and like what kind of season you have to have. Like, okay, we talk about
can't
top
expect the
quarterbacks.
same out of Seattle again, man. You can't.
Is Sam Darnold the top 10 quarterback?
As of right now, yeah, probably.
What's that right now? But like moving forward, like, do you really believe in that?
I mean,
I
don't
guess
know.
he's
He
done it
might
a couple
be.
years in a row now with the Vikings and now
Yeah.
the Seahawks, and so maybe he's hit that stride where he is legit. You have to just kind of consider it, but like, I don't know, man.
You're gonna
me,
see a lot more players get opportunities like Sam Darnold moving forward. They're gonna take quarterbacks they were given up on, and there's gonna be teams that are gonna be like, fuck it, like go get Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold were I think drafted like the same year, and they both had
Dude.
like late career resurgencies.
Meanwhile, there's guys like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson that are fucking thirsty and deserve one that might not get it, dude. Joe Burrow.
Dan Marino was a thing, man.
We might have like 3 of them though.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it is a golden age of quarterbacks in a way. Like, there's a lot of damn good
That's what's
competition,
silly
man.
about like Carl's comment in that way is if you just time traveled Josh Allen into the 90s,
Oh my god,
he'd win like 8 rings.
he'd be insane,
He was-
dude. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like in the
He would have been
playoffs,
bigger
you know,
than
Josh
most of
Allen's
his own
doing
linemen.
6 touchdown games in the playoffs. Like, yeah, he hasn't won, but hasn't really been his fucking fault. Like, the guy's amazing, right? So, remember the 1 year where he lost to Patrick Mahomes because the coin flip didn't go their way in overtime?
Mm-hmm.
That was the deciding factor. Dude, I'm really happy about that San Francisco game. I go back and I look at that one, and that one puts a smile on my face. I know it's a loss,
Yeah.
but I think it's such a fucking great lesson to be learned. Because what did you really do to fuck that game up? There was one drive that you kicked a field goal instead of a touchdown, and the very first drive you went 3 and out. Look at that. If you would have just started right from the start, not from the second drive, from the first fucking drive, maybe you would have had that one. Yes, you went toe to toe with them, and it was like a hell of a fucking game and a hell of an experience. And like, I liked it, but like,
I would have just liked to have seen the defense make one fucking ballsy play.
I know,
more
but
than
sometimes
anything.
they're not going to. Like, I want to see my quarterback be able to do that, not every week,
Yeah.
but I think it just.
But also at a certain
underlines-
point is like you can't ask Caleb to do more when he's doing everything.
No, but I think
Right?
it's a good
So,
lesson
like,
to be learned.
I would've-
that
I would've
loss
wanted
didn't hurt
one.
us. It didn't hurt us. Like, it was just a good overall lesson to be learned. Like, dude, start from the start. Every fucking snap matters here. Like,
It's
it
part of-
might be what dictates the result.
We're going on an hour and a half. I mean, that's what I'm talking about at the very beginning, where I'm like, can we just make some games look easy this season? I would like you know, we move our goalposts very, very quickly, Paulie, but like we go from predicting 5-win seasons and then everybody calls us haters because it's they're predicting 12 wins, right? With Eberflus and Keenan Allen and a rookie Caleb and 12 wins and 5,000 yards as a rookie. Shut the fuck up.
Oh, I love this.
I want 3 games. Don't even give me 4 because the NFL's too close to each other. I want 3 games this season where I'm not stressed out. I want 3 games where it's like we're winning by 17 at half. We hold on to it.
I think that was
it's a nice
Saints
Sunday
game.
afternoon.
The Saints game was like that. I think it was like
I wasn't even that. It's not. It was closer than you remember it being.
I remember their
closer.
quarterback not being able to do a damn thing.
Spencer Rattler, he had like 2 touchdowns. It was closer than you remember it being. Even that one it felt good, but it wasn't ideal. Like Washington was a little bit.
I want to say the
calmer
Browns.
than,
We put the Browns away.
Yeah, but it wasn't again like the Browns was a good one because Shedeur was really bad.
I think that might be the only one then.
Like the Commanders game was like as close to that as I can remember, just where you're not like freaking out the whole way. I want like 3 games, where I just want like a calm. We just feel comfortable the whole way. Just like I'm not even asking for a fucking 25-point beatdown.
We're better than this team.
Yes, we're just better, and we just did it from the very beginning. We were prepared better from the beginning. We were on the same page better. We don't need to figure it out at the end of the game. Just give me like 3 of those. I'm not even being greedy. I'd like 4 or 5, but give me 3 this season. And then I'll really feel good about this team moving forward, where it's like, oh, okay, there's like levels to this, and we're on that upper level where we're those teams that like, if you come out underprepared, the Bears will beat the shit out of you. Like that's what I want to see this year. Because there's a lot of teams in the NFL that are like that. And
yeah, no, I agree.
There's also games where, like the Patriots come or the Bills lost to like the Dolphins on like Thursday night, I think, of this year, and everybody was like shocked by it. So those will happen. I'm not saying that, but I also want to see a few weeks where if you come underprepared against the Bills or the fucking Bears, you're gonna get your teeth kicked in. And that's what I want to see. So
yeah, well, finally some fucking legitimate respect.
Yeah.
I think this team has definitely earned that for sure.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. You got anything else?
I mean, not much to talk about. I think training camp starts end of the month, so have a little.
Yeah,
bit
I tried
more.
to get tickets. My fucking coworker got them right next to me. So yeah, no, good for her. So she's gonna go. I think on like a Tuesday or a Thursday or something. But
nice.
Yeah, it's always fun.
It always coming up on that season, man. We're getting into that preseason game mode.
It always makes me feel like a shitty person though, like because at the end, like there's clearly a spot where they let the children run up to get autographs, and I'm always like, yeah, but let me just go anyway and like try and go. I know it's for the kids, but it's so tempting, like to just whatever. Try and get some signatures with that. But it is quite an experience. Always good at Palace Hall and doing it all. We haven't talked at all about the stadium, and that's because it's absolutely not worth talking about. So I think once a brick is laid, I think we'll give our opinion on wherever that brick was laid. It's taken a crazy turn of events, but I don't think it matters too much right now for the time being. So that's that's something that's been fucking kicked to death too, right? So I wanted to share some channel updates with you, David.
Yep.
So we've gone into these little droughts, hibernation periods. I think this is going to be the 4th year we're doing BEARSKIFILM. And by the way, like, just thank everybody for who watches or who watches the highlight videos, who unsubscribes when they come and watch us during the podcast, or all the people that disagree with us in chat that want to argue with us, or all the people that just come back every week, all the members we have and everything like that. We don't usually go and do the whole thank you for participating in chat thing. We're always just like, yeah, you guys know who you are, and like we'll bullshit with anybody. We'll put any comment on the screen, and I don't care what team you root for. We're always willing to accept any opinion and talk football and football in general. But when, Bears football ended, in the past, the channel just kind of goes down. We kind of come back alive draft time a little bit. This year we were both kind of busy with stuff. Didn't happen. But this year I've continued to make highlight videos throughout the offseason. And, just focus on doing some things that I'm not good at or the channel's not good at. One of them selling merchandise. So, I've been trying to really, I said, why am I not selling merchandise? And I was like, well, because I got shitty designs. Like, I'm not going to market something that's shitty. So I try to put some time and effort into actually putting in, some good designs into some good stuff that's worth marketing a little bit. So, and then I try and just give away some free stuff and whatnot. And I've seen a little increase there, which is good. Another one, David, is growth on multiple platforms. So this is our first time streaming on X. Instagram has been good. TikTok has been good. And now we're kind of on all of them now, whereas we used to just be YouTube only mainly. We are on multiple platforms now. So just kind of some new little changes with the way that the live shows are appearing now and where they're appearing and whatnot. So I just kind of wanted to share those with you. And still, as always, we appreciate everybody. We thank everybody. But feel free to comment. We'll always debate you if we disagree. Because the one thing we're going to do is stick to our guns, our opinions, our philosophies. And if we're wrong, we're wrong. If we're right, we're right. But man, I'm telling you, the one that breaks people's brain right now is the whole trading Caleb away scenario. And you saw it as soon as I started talking about it earlier. Somebody's like, wait, what? This and that. The Joe Burrow one's better than Justin Herbert for sure. But what actually happened was crazier because Matt Stafford never was in a Super Bowl, David. All that guy really had was what? A 5,000-yard season? Were the Lions ever really in the playoffs with Matt Stafford when he went to the Rams? I don't know, man. That's a hell of a move. That's a ballsy-ass move by a real good head coach.
I really don't like to think about it. I'm locked in.
I don't
Caleb
either
right now, and
I am locked into Caleb too, and I think that Caleb will get it done, and I think that growth is going to continue. I already think he's better than Jared Goff, and I think the key defining factor is that clutchness, because we're like, dude, you can fix a lot of this shit. A lot of the things that Jared Goff does, a lot of the things that Jordan Love does, you can learn to do. Jordan Love did not have a bad game against us in the playoffs. 21-3, that wasn't it. They kept scoring. They had one missed field goal that they could point to that probably lost them the game. They still scored another touchdown. They still scored another field goal. They missed a field goal too. But it's not like they stopped and laid dead in the water. Jordan Love had a fourth touchdown game for them. But when it came time, last snap was a snap fumble. Which is why I don't believe in Jordan Love. Which is why I don't believe in Jared Goff. Which is why I kind of believe in Caleb Williams. Go ahead, fix all this other shit. When it comes to crunch time, I believe Kid can get it done because he's gotten it done. That's huge in this league. Huge.
Dude, he's got.
So
this goes full circle to how I started this chat today. He's got the hardest parts of being a quarterback down, which is backwards. But if he can just simplify as he goes, there's just not really that. It's year 3, dude. He's got 10, 12 years ahead of him. So if he can already be clutch, if he can already make good decisions in the clutch in high pressure situations, adding 50 yards in each half is not a crazy idea. You know what I mean?
Increasing completion percentage is not a crazy idea.
If you can add 10% to your completion percentage and add 50 yards a half extra, he turns into a 285 and 60% quarterback every single game. It's over.
Yeah, for sure. Well, so I don't know where we're going to be on next, but we are going to try and come back on a little bit more regularly. And now that things are going to start, getting up and going, we will, we'll be doing stuff. So definitely, anybody, if you want to be on the show, always feel free to reach out to us on any of the platforms. Feel free to message me. I always message back. So we're always willing to take guests and people who want to come on and talk some real football. So appreciate all of you. David, I think that's it, right?
I think that's it for today, man. First day back. I mean, we did an hour and a half when there's really no content, so I'm pretty happy with it.
Guys, just to lay this out there too, we didn't prep for this at all. We had no notes. We didn't have topics. In fact, we called each other, an hour before the show started? And we're like, what are we even going to talk about? And then talked about Bears football for a half hour. And we're like, hold on, we got to stop ourselves. Let's save it for the show, right? So, yeah, the conversation is just very natural. It just is what it is, man. We haven't talked for a while. So this was nice. It was refreshing. It's therapy, man. I need it. So let's do it again. Maybe not next week, but at least in 2 weeks, we'll be back on. And, yeah, bear down, everybody.